Hello, welcome back to the Fearless Money Inc. podcast. This is Crystal, your host and founder of Fearless Money Inc. I want to welcome you, and I also want to thank you for taking your time out to listen to this because I have so much great information to share with, like eye-opening information to share with you on this episode. I'm super excited to just release. So I was forced into a time of rest recently. Probably for the past month, I've been challenged physically, I would say. And I have been like no energy, not being able to do anything. So I just had no choice but to lay down and rest. And during this time that I've been physically challenged, I had the opportunity to gain some mental clarity, right? So it was very eye-opening for me. I also had the opportunity to just see how I have been working, how I have been using my time, how I have been embracing the opportunities that have been placed in my life, how I've been taking advantage of my time and these opportunities and the people that I have in my life, how I hadn't been spending as much time with God as I should have been. So I had to stop. I was forced into this time to get clarity, hear from God, just see how my life was in general. Because, sometimes we get so caught up with things and consumed with things that we have going on that we don't take time to take a step back and make sure that we're handling everything in the right way. So, I was physically challenged for a couple weeks, just down, no energy, no strength, couldn't do anything. Literally had no choice but to lay down and just sleep and rest and take care of my body. But also during this time, I got the flu. And we know that the summer flu is the worst. Having the flu along with being nauseated all the time, not being able to eat much, and just drained physically, I was able to take a step back. And I feel so convicted about how I have been doing things, how God clearly showed me that, I have these great opportunities in my life. And he was like, Crystal, you're not using them the right way. So what really topped this off for me is that I was watching Eric Thomas. If you don't know who he is, please go follow him. E.T. the hip hop preacher. The man is anointed beyond. All right. He is definitely somebody that you want to follow. He is definitely on my list of getting in a room with him and masterminding and just hearing him speak. I just need to know him personally. I said that the other day. I'm like, he is going to be somebody that is going to mentor me. I'm going to sit in rooms with Eric Thomas because this man is delivering people left and right. So he said something on a video recently where he had these young men, stop and think about the opportunity that they have today. And I'm going to put myself in this example that he used because the young men he were talking to was young athletes, college athletes that are striving to, become, NBA players and be in the league. And he asked them, why aren't they giving 120%? So they answered. And then he had them stop and think about the opportunity that they have right now. And he put it in a perspective of, he had them stop and think about how it was 200 and 300 years ago for us right now. And when I say us, I mean us as African American culture. What was life like for us 200 and 300 years ago? So for me, as a 32-year-old woman with 4 young children, I'm married. 200 to 300 years ago, it was slavery. So what I can get up and do now, I would not have been able to get up and do that 200 to 300 years ago. Not even that long ago, just back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, I would not be able to really get up and do the things that I have the opportunity to do now. So the fact that we can do whatever we want with our time right now. Me as a Black woman with 3 young children, a husband, and just free to get up and go out and do whatever I want. I couldn't get up and do that 200 to 300 years ago, or even 40 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to get up and choose what I want to do for the day. So even right now with me recording this podcast, or I have the internet, I can make billions of dollars. I'm enrolled in college right now. It was not so easy. It wouldn't have been so easy for me to get up and take advantage of all these opportunities that I have right now. These opportunities, they weren't even an option back then. So he put that into perspective, and I was just like, what? Like, wow. Because sometimes we have to have visuals, and we have to see things in a different perspective, because if we're not careful, we'll continue to look at things the same way. And the advantages that we have today is precious. And he was saying, like, you don't have time. We don't have time to waste. So during this time that I was sick, I was just realizing, like, how I've been wasting my time, how I've been wasting my purpose, because I know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I know that, what type of businesses I'm supposed to be running. And while I was sick, I wanted to be able to get up and do so much, but I couldn't. And I thought about all the time and opportunities that I had taken advantage of, because when I was able, I would make so many excuses of why I couldn't do this. I would say, oh, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I would overthink. I would be too busy comparing myself to other people, or I just would not see what God has really given me. The fact that I don't have to get up and go to work every morning. I don't have to get up and go out in a field and pick cotton. I can get up. I can create my job right now. I can create the career that I want. I can literally live life how I want to. I can choose how I want to earn money. Back then, we did not, Black culture, we didn't have the opportunity to choose how we want to go make money. It's either you was going to go out in the field, or you going to be in the house cooking, cleaning, nursing somebody else's child, just doing things that I wouldn't have had a choice to do. Like, I would have been forced to. My day would have been. I would get up and they would tell me what to do with my day. Now nobody has to do that but the Lord. The Lord is the only one that can tell me, Crystal, this is what you're going to do with your life, and this is what you're going to do with your day, your week, your month, your year. So we don't realize the opportunity that we have. We don't recognize how precious our time is right now. And the fact that we take advantage of time that is so precious, that gives us opportunity. The fact that we can think for ourselves. The fact that I don't have to worry about getting up and going out and being afraid for my life. Or the fact that I have to really be particular about where I can eat today, because I'm not welcomed in every facility or every restaurant or every store. So I have to plan. I don't have to do that, and my children don't have to do that. So when we look at things in that way, we recognize how, oh my gosh, how blessed we really are. So I have no more time to waste, because during this time of forced rest and clarity, like, God spoke to me about so much. And I also realized how unprepared I am, and how out of alignment I am with the vision that is supposed to be fulfilled for my life, for my children's life, for my family's life, for the people that I'll probably never meet, because we know that our purpose and our opportunities are not just for us. The opportunities that are presented before us to take us to another level is not just for us. It's for people we'll never meet. And it's so important that we have a vision of elevation and fearlessness. So I thought about the scripture, redeeming the time. There's a scripture in Ephesians, and it's just talking about being very careful of your time. Take full advantage of your time and what you're doing, because you can't get it back. But it also says, be wise about what you do and know the will of God. So when it says know the will of God, it's saying the purpose and the call in your life and what you're supposed to do. And you find that truth in the Bible when you read the Bible, and you know why God created us as kingdom here on earth. What are we supposed to be doing? Not waking up and taking advantage of our time. We're not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to be allowing the opportunities that we have to pass us by because we're too busy scrolling on Facebook and Instagram, watching what everybody else is doing, when we're supposed to be out saving people, helping people, serving people. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So I want to encourage you to take time to really think about how you've been using your time. E.T. also said, when he talked about the opportunities that we have today versus the opportunities that we had 200 to 300 years ago as a African American culture, he said, he talked about how he became a speaker, and he was like, I can make money speaking. I can become a billionaire speaking. I can travel the world speaking. Now, thinking about me back, in the 40s and 50s, 200 to 300 years ago in general, I couldn't just get up and go speak without fearing for my life. I couldn't be open and voice my opinion and make money speaking and writing books and have the opportunity to go to college and get an education, because I would have to, do that I would have to be so fearless and so bold and so confident and hope that nobody would come after me to take my life 200 to 300 years ago. Now I don't have to worry about that. I have every single opportunity to take advantage of. So now when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, every excuse I've made to not finish my degree, why not? Because education is now an opportunity that I can freely get. I don't have to consult anyone. I don't have to worry about attending a segregated school. I don't have to worry about a white-only school. I don't have to worry about what opportunities will I have once I finish my education, because the limitation of jobs as a culture, we don't have to worry about those things anymore. So now I should be giving every opportunity and all of my time 100%, 120%. I should be giving it everything that I absolutely have. So I want you to think about the opportunities that you have in your life right now. When we make excuses, it's nothing but fear. We're afraid of something. Maybe we're more afraid that we won't accomplish what we desire to do. Maybe we're afraid of hearing no. Maybe we're afraid of that the first move that we make won't work. But what if it does? What if that first move does work? And if that first move doesn't work, are you going to make the next move and the next move and the next move until you get what you want? Things are not going to come easy for us. It never has. And we have to work for the things that we want. Purpose is something that you have to work for. Destiny is something that you have to work for. And I talk about this all the time on our, on the podcast. I talk about fearless money. But when I talk about fearless money, I talk about it from a perspective of the wealth starts here in your mindset. It doesn't automatically fall in your hands or your lap. You have to think. You have to think, and what you think becomes a reality for you. So if you think that you can't make it, if you think that you can't accomplish your goal, if you think that you're not worth the desires of your heart, when God says that He will give us every desire of our heart, how dare you? Now you're missing out on opportunity. Now you're taking advantage of your time, and you're not using your time wisely like you're supposed to, because your thoughts are wrecking your life. There's no way you can be fearless when in your mind you're thinking you're not worthy, or pride is causing you to fall apart, or fear is making you see everything as doing something wrong, or jealousy or comparison or envy, all of these things that we deal with. And it's so hard today. Really, it's not hard, but society makes it hard today because we can have access to so many people's lives that we are consumed with watching what everyone else is doing. But the thing is, the number one opportunity that we have as people here on earth is that God created all of us as originals. He didn't create any of us the same. He didn't create any copies of us. He created all of us as originals. And everybody is trying to be the same, look the same, do the same thing. And it's wrong. So every opportunity that we get that could change the narrative of our family and break cycles of poverty and break these generational curses, we see them as a disadvantage versus seeing them as opportunities, because we don't want to put in the effort to do what we're supposed to do. We don't want to think about the good that would come out of the hard work that we put in. We want things to come easy to us these days, and that is not the case. That's not what opportunity is about. Yes, we can have favor and God's grace and mercy can, be upon us all the time. And some things will come easy for us. But as far as fulfilling destiny and purpose and living a fearless money life, it's going to require hard work. And the hard work is making sure you keep your mind right. That's where the hard work comes in at. Because we can get so distracted by so many different opportunities that we get out of alignment. We walk out right off of our path because this shiny opportunity presented itself before us, or you got a friend over there doing this and that, and I could do that too. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be doing that just because it's working for them. So how are you looking at the opportunities in your life right now? At one point for me, I was like, woe is me. I'm always broke. I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the time to do that. What? How dare you, Crystal? How dare you continue to say that you don't have the time, you don't have the money? Where is your faith? You have the opportunity to use your faith in these situations. You better pull from that. God gives us everything that we need. He gives us everything that we need. So when I was in this point in my life of just feeling like I couldn't make it, I was doing nothing but missing my opportunities, taking advantage of my time. I was complaining. I was blaming. I felt entitled to a lot of things. I felt like opportunities were just supposed to fall in my lap. I felt like I didn't have to work for anything. Because most of the time when we're working and we're moving in faith and in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing with our lives, those opportunities will come left and right. But your faith has to be there. Your mind has to be right, because just a little slip of your mindset to the negative side can make you miss that one opportunity that could change your life. It doesn't matter what it looks like. And that's the thing too, like we have to change how we see things, because we could be praying for something and we could be expecting something and we expect to see it in a certain way. So then when that opportunity or that need presents itself, we weren't ready because we thought it should look like, a gift with a big old bow on top, right? But this opportunity could come through. This opportunity could come in the ugliest way possible. It could come at the worst time of your life. It can be presented to you by someone that you wouldn't even expect it to come from. And because you thought you were going to receive in a certain way, you miss it. So we have to be very careful of how we're living life, how we're taking advantage of our time. You are no longer in slavery. You are free. So take the time to think about, what your life would look like 200 to 300 years ago. And be grateful that you're not in that time anymore. We have so much freedom. We have so much opportunity. We have every resource to create what we desire to have. We have no excuse. It's just going to take hard work, and people don't want to do that anymore. Nobody wants to work hard anymore. Nobody wants to work hard anymore. And it's sad. So shout out to ET for just putting that in a new perspective for me, because I know lately too, as I'm like my body is restoring and I'm receiving restoration, I realized that I needed to change my perspective, because for the past few years I've been looking for the same opportunities, or I've been going back to the same opportunities, or I've been seeing things in the same way and just haven't been willing to really try different strategies or try something different. I always want to go back to the things that I failed at, and then I would feel like, no, I have to make this work. Like, no, I'm going back to this because I had the whole plan and everything. I got the vision written out. So I'm just going to go back to this because it's easier and let me try it again. But I had to, like, I keep hearing different strategies. Do something different. Do something different. Different strategies. Take a different way. And that's what I have to do. So shout out to ET for that perspective, because sometimes when we fail at things, we become prideful and we hate the fact that we failed, or we hate the fact that, we've talked about something and we failed at it. So now everybody sees that. So let me talk about me. I feel like I have to go back and revisit these things, these plans, these goals, these visions that I started and I failed at, to make them work. And maybe it failed for a reason. That's not always the case. Like, you don't go back and revisit these things just because it failed, So I've been hearing different strategies. So you may have to do that. Just release all of that stuff that you have been working on in the past and move on to something different. We have so many opportunities and so many options today. We are not limited to one thing. We have a plethora of options and opportunities. So you may need to try a different way or a different perspective. And there's nothing wrong with that. Stop looking at one thing. Stop looking back. Stop looking back. The opportunities are before us, not behind us. The opportunities are up, not down. So that is my revelation, y'all. I felt so convicted while I was sick, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already sick, and I have to go through all of this now. No. And we don't take the time to sit down and get clarity about things. We have to step back from the things that we've been trying to strive for so long, because sometimes when things are not working for us, it's because it's time for us to try a different way. But we'll keep striving at it, and then we just take all the control away from God, and we try to control it and do it our way and do it, this way, that way, and it's not working. And then we just become burnt out and we're tired and we want to give up. And it's because we didn't stop and take the time to make sure that we're doing things the right way. Revisiting the whiteboard, right? Revisiting the vision and the plan and what you've written out, to make sure, or to even be able to stop and question why something wasn't working. Why isn't this working? Why am I not moving forward? Why is this opportunity, or why aren't there opportunities being presented before me? These are the questions that you have to ask. So I hope this was of encouragement to you today. I hope this encouraged you to move forward and live your fearless money life. We don't have time to waste anymore. We don't have opportunities to waste anymore. We are in a time where it's very critical that we pay attention to how we're living our lives, because it's not just about us. It's not about us. But when we begin to take advantage of things that are very precious, then we get in this mindset of selfishness and pride, and we just don't see anybody else. We only see ourselves. So be encouraged. Remember to live your fearless money life. Share this podcast with someone if it encouraged you. And friend me. Go friend me on Facebook and like the page, or follow the page on Instagram, Fearless Money Inc. Share this podcast. Share some, snippets of what you liked. I just love to hear from you guys. I'm very open. I like to hear the opinions of other people and what they think about what I share, but also how you can apply this knowledge to your life. Also, go follow ET if you don't know who he is on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Go follow him. Period.